The power-on stalls simulate the takeoff and departure situations, and the power-off stalls, the approach and landing conditions. Let's begin with the power-off stalls. They are usually called approach to landing stalls, practiced either as imminent or full stalls.
Whenever you do stalls, the airplane must be at an altitude which allows the stall and recovery to be made without descending below 1,500 feet above the surface. This is an absolute minimum, and stalls should be practiced higher, if at all possible. Also, the weight in the airplane must be properly distributed and balanced. This is always true, but it is especially important when practicing stalls. Later in this course, we'll discuss weight and balance in detail, but for now, remember that if weight is loaded too far forward, the airplane will stall at a higher airspeed, and if loaded too far aft, stall recovery may be difficult. Be sure to clear the area by making at least 2 90-degree clearing turns before doing any stalls. When the wings are level, reduce power to idle and maintain altitude in level flight to slow the airplane to normal approach speed. As the airspeed slows into the white arc, extend the wing flaps. At the normal approach speed, lower the nose to the approach pitch attitude. When the airplane is stabilized in the approach attitude and speed, begin to smoothly and slowly bring the nose up to an attitude which will cause a stall. This attitude should not be more than the normal climb attitude. The idea is to reach the imminent stall without having the airplane in an abnormally high pitch attitude. The imminent stall recovery is made when the airplane is on the verge of, but not completely stalled. This is when the first decay of control effectiveness, or buffeting, occurs. Recovery is made by lowering the nose, simultaneously applying full power while maintaining directional control with coordinated use of aileron and rudder. Because the airplane is not fully stalled, the pitch attitude only needs to be lowered to the point where minimum controllable airspeed and thus control effectiveness is regained. A pitch attitude slightly below level flight is usually sufficient to recover from an imminent stall. As speed increases, slowly retract the flaps and establish a normal climb to the altitude specified by the examiner or instructor. Imminent power-off stalls during turns should be made at 20 degrees of bank, simulating the turn from base to final. The imminent stall should be accomplished in approximately 90 degrees of turn. After establishing approach speed and flap configuration, start a 20-degree bank turn, then slowly and smoothly bring the nose up to the attitude which will stall the airplane. During all turning stalls, there is a tendency for the bank to increase. If the bank increases, the loss of vertical lift component tends to lower the nose. During the stall entry, use control pressures as necessary to prevent the bank angle from changing. Keep the ball in the center and keep the nose from dropping. Then, at the first sign of a stall, lower the nose, apply power, and level the wings. Right rudder pressure will be needed to offset the effect of the increase in power. As speed increases, slowly retract the flaps and establish a normal climb to the altitude specified by the examiner or instructor. The entry procedure for doing full stalls straight ahead with power off is the same as for the imminent stalls. For turning full stalls power off, the bank should be 20 degrees. Full stalls require that the airplane be forced deeper into the stall, but recovery should be prompt when any of the signs of a full stall is experienced. Compared to the power-on full stall, the power-off full stall will provide fewer cues, and that the airplane will not shake and buffet as much as in the power-on stalls. Usually the best clue is when the elevator control is full back and the nose pitches down. The recovery procedure is the same as for all stalls. Reduce the angle of attack, add full power, and maintain directional control using coordinated rudder and aileron pressures. As you might expect, recovery from the full stall will require a lower pitch attitude to avoid the secondary stall, and the altitude loss will be greater. As speed increases, retract the flaps. Be sure that you have reached the best rate of climb speed before the final flap retraction. Enter a normal climb to the altitude specified by the examiner or instructor.